Ciao guys, welcome back on the channel. Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today guys, it's international break, it's weekend, but we still have updates, important news, and so let's jump immediately into it together. And let me start by mentioning Tottenham situation, because the breaking news of this Sunday is about Tottenham Hotspur, is about the decision of the club to part ways with immediate effect with their interim coach Igor Tudor. The original plan was always to part ways with Tudor, but at the end of the season, that was the hope by Tottenham Hotspur when they decided to appoint a former Lazio, Marseille, Juventus manager who said yes to this opportunity, so to be the Tottenham manager from now to the end of the season. But the situation was complicated. Complicated in terms of results, complicated in the relegation battle, also on a personal point of view, as Igor Tudor lost his father 1 week ago, and we still send a big hug to Igor Tudor, to his family, a complicated moment on the personal point of view, and also now the announcement, the official statement made by Tottenham to communicate that Tudor and Tottenham Hotspur decide to part ways with immediate effect. And so Tottenham had to find a solution now, because Tottenham had Thomas Frank as their head coach at the start of the season. It was not a good spell for Thomas Frank as Tottenham manager. Then Igor Tudor, and now the third manager of their season. What's going to happen, guys? Let me clarify to you the situation. My understanding is that the dream of Tottenham Hotspur remains, as I told you, in February, and was the first week of February, right after the end of the January transfer window, remains Roberto De Zerbi. The dream target for Tottenham has always been Roberto De Zerbi. Now, what's the point? The point is that Roberto De Zerbi's original idea has always been to consider Tottenham job, yes, but in the summer. So Roberto De Zerbi wanted to wait for the summer transfer window, for the end of the season, to understand what kind of opportunity was going to be the best one for his future after deciding to leave Olympique Marseille a few weeks ago. But what I can tell you today is that Tottenham are still dreaming of Roberto De Zerbi, are still hoping to confirm Roberto De Zerbi as their top target, and also still trying to find a way to appoint Roberto De Zerbi now. That remains the mission. That remains the dream of Tottenham Hotspur, I would say. Because the two names I've always mentioned to you are, on one side, Roberto De Zerbi, on the other side, Mauricio Pochettino. But Pochettino is busy. He's busy with the US men national team ahead of the World Cup. Pochettino is not going to negotiate any deal now with Tottenham. Obviously, not from now to the end of the season, but not even for the end of the season, because he wants to focus on the World Cup. And after that, we see what happens. So Tottenham are going really strong for Roberto De Zerbi. Let's see if they find a way to convince De Zerbi, but he remains the dream target for the summer. If it's going to be possible now, if there is 1% chance, Tottenham want to try. Otherwise, there are some managers who could be available on a short-term appointment. For example, Sean Dyche and more names being considered internally for a short-term solution. But the name of De Zerbi for the summer, and if it's possible now, remains, even for now, the dream target for Tottenham Hotspur. So let's follow the situation. Then, talking about managers, many of you asking me if Roberto De Zerbi could be a candidate also for Manchester United job. Look guys, what I'm told is that Roberto De Zerbi was a serious candidate, as I told you several times, in 2024. You probably remember, Man United were considering to change the manager, and they had Thomas Tuchel and Roberto De Zerbi on their shortlist. But then they decided, after winning the FA Cup at Wembley against Manchester City, to continue with Erik ten Hag. So at that point, he was already a target for Ineos. Now, I'm not aware of anything concrete, advanced, serious between De Zerbi and Man United so far. Wow, why? Because Manchester United are focused also on continuing at the best level possible under Michael Carrick. Then Man United, closer to the end of the season, will make a final decision on who's going to be the permanent manager, Michael Carrick or any other coach. So Man United remain in a process to make a decision as soon as possible, but with the right timing. Man United are not in a rush. They want to make sure they take the best decision possible, Carrick or not Carrick. But Michael Carrick, remember what I keep telling you here on the channel, maintains a very good relationship with people at Man United, with the management, with the players, which is very important. All the players are speaking very well about Michael Carrick in public when they do interviews, and also in private, several players are very happy with Carrick. So Carrick has serious chances to continue as Manchester United permanent coach in the summer. but it's still not something guaranteed, still not something agreed, still not something communicated by Man United, because they want to take their time before making their final decisions. Then, guys, just a quick touch, then we will talk about more names in the following videos. But a quick touch on the situation of Manchester United and some midfielders. One name you are asking me, Marcos Llorente, being linked with Manchester United from Spain. I told you in a video this week that some Premier League clubs, and not only Man United, wanted to be informed of the situation of Marcos Llorente, because he's out of contract in 2027 at Atletico Madrid, but the desire of the player is not an attraction, a specific attraction for Premier League football. He's very keen on staying at Atletico Madrid, signing a new contract at Atletico Madrid, so there are negotiations ongoing. Marcos Llorente, his camp, and Atleti over new contract. So that's the focus for Marcos Llorente. And then many questions on Bruno Guimaraes. What I told you guys on Bruno Guimaraes is that he's appreciated by Man United. At the moment, there is no negotiation. So Man United are not in active talks to sign Bruno Guimaraes, not talking to Newcastle, and not sending any contract proposal to the agents. What Man United did, but not today, not this week, not even last week, it was some time ago, few weeks ago, they had a meeting with the agents of Bruno Guimaraes. But this agency is not only representing Bruno Guimaraes. Giuliano Bertolucci is one of the most powerful Brazilian agents with several players. So it's absolutely normal for a club like Man United to meet with agents, to meet with top agents, to consider opportunities, top players, young players. That's part of the business. So Man United had some contacts, a meeting, I can tell you, with the agency representing Bruno Guimaraes, but it doesn't mean that Man United are negotiating to sign Bruno Guimaraes. So that's the status of today. He's appreciated, but I'm sure for Manchester United in this moment, there are also different priorities. For example, I keep maintaining a name, the name of Sandro Tonali. I will tell you more on Tonali in a specific video about midfielders and more in the upcoming hours, with more details about this situation. But for sure, Manchester United are assessing midfielders. For sure, Manchester United will sign at least one, but could be really two. Also because Casemiro is going. I told you yesterday about Inter Miami pushing. Let's see what Casemiro decides to do, but he's not staying at Manchester United. Meanwhile, Man United are working hard to get the new contract done as soon as possible with Kobbie Mainoo, but they are almost there, very confident. 2031, improved salary, and all being negotiated. So, Manchester United, very busy on several fronts. On these, guys, and much more, remember to send your comments, like this video, turn on the notification bell, let me know your opinion on Michael Carrick, in or out, Roberto De Zerbi, yes for Tottenham, or maybe better another solution, your thoughts on Igor Tudor, and then Bruno Guimaraes, Marcos Llorente and more, here in the comments, like this video, and see you soon, here on the channel.